Hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FusionX. Joining me today, we've got a full house. We've got Zanidra, we've got Aldino, and we've got Rook.
Hello.
What's up, friends?
What's up? So it's been a fun couple of weeks here for a lot of people. So one thing we do want to mention here real quick, with everybody home and bored, we have been undergoing some DDoS attacks. So obviously we're working behind the scenes trying to make things run as smooth as we can while this is going on. If you have any issues with the website during this time, please send an email over to support@gamerscape.com. Give us as much information as you can, a screenshot of the page and the error, all that kind of stuff, and we can try and get stuff sorted out for you. We're sorry it's happening. It's just, it is what it is right now. So
people are bored. They need to know things about Ishgard. And that's why we're here today.
they're DDoSing so they get the leg up in the Ishgard race here.
Right. There you go. I just need to know.
I
just need to know where to get these mushrooms so no one else can craft this thing. In news here, NA customer support is closed. We've been monitoring the situation surrounding COVID-19 carefully, increasing our safety procedures and protocols, and reducing our operations to help limit the spread of the virus while continuing to assist our customers. Due to recent orders issued by the County of Los Angeles and the State of California, customer support will be temporarily closing. Due to these precautionary measures, we have decided to temporarily close phone, chat, and in-game support until further notice. Email support will be available, but please understand that there may be a delay in response. While we understand that this will be an inconvenience to our customers, please rest assured that our teams have plans in place to resume customer support and service as soon as possible. In the meantime, we recommend that you keep checking Lodestone for latest news and announcements.
In the meantime, we recommend don't have problems.
Yeah, so if you wanted
Just
to
don't
troll,
mess up
now's
the
a
game.
good time to do it, I guess. Don't. Yeah, so I mean, it's not surprising. I'm a little more surprised that with this, they didn't also put out something that's like, for right now, any chat is getting routed to like EU support or JP support or something like that. It's just no.
They're probably still closed too, right? Though
they might be. So email only. Yeah.
I mean, at least they are responding to emails. When I first saw that, I honestly didn't even realize. I thought it was just all shutting down. Yeah. But, I mean, it's a great time to make use of things like, I mean, Reddit, Discord communities, all that kind of stuff. If you do run into a problem, I mean, reach out or look through all the archives there of people asking for help. I know when I first downloaded the game, I had a really weird glitch with the initial download, and I think it was actually a thread that I found on Reddit or something that helped me troubleshoot it. So it's not a bad time to just reach out and see or browse old archives if you do have an immediate problem.
Hopefully there's nothing a little more critical in-game. That
be especially nice to your fellow man so they don't feel the need to report you.
Yeah. Be nice to everybody during this time. Like I saw a tweet
yesterday. Just be nice to everybody all the time.
Yeah, I mean, right, especially now, but all the time. Like there, this woman working at a grocery store spends her breaks crying because everybody's so mean to her. It's like, what the hell are people doing?
Aww.
Like,
yeah, it's terrible.
What?
Yeah, it's people need to calm down. We're all in this together.
Yeah, when I went to pick up food the other day, the woman was super apologetic, like she thought I was going to yell at her because she made me wait outside. I get it. I have to wait outside. I didn't get here first. Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, we are the community that makes lines to get into zones, so I think we're gonna be okay. Maybe.
Yeah, I think the Final Fantasy players, you'll be able to pick them out if you have to go out for any reason. Be like, oh yeah, that person's pretty nice. Must be an Eorzean. Hey, what's up, fellow friend?
All I can think of is the times I played Final Fantasy XI back in the day, because the instancing worked a little differently in that game, and so it was literally like first come first serve kind of a thing, and people would just line up zigzagging around the zone to do different fights, and oh yeah. Oh, back in the day, man. All right. Episode 4 for the creation of Shadowbringers documentary is out now, Making the Monsters. Make sure to check that out.
Yeah, powering through those.
They're so cool.
They're good.
I love these.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's cool. It's funny. They had we had the No Clip documentary that Daniel Dwyer did. And now Square's like, oh, we can do that. And so they're doing a 14 one. There's a 7 remake one that they were doing now too. That's out. So yeah, definitely no lack of things to watch right now if you like Final Fantasy. There's also no lack of things to listen to. There is a new Shadowbringers EP up on Amazon for $4.95. You can get all the new Eden tracks and the 2 Kitari Beast Tribe tracks as well. So if you want some new tunes to listen to, make sure to go check that out. And the first round of Sky Builders rankings is out. So if you ranked 1 through 12, you will get your Writ of Beautification and Writ of Commendation, which will give you your Saint of the Firmament title or the Beautis or Beata of the Firmament title, respectively. Beatus, is that Beatus? That's...
Just Beatus.
There's no U. It says Beatus. I had a friend of mine say
Leviabetus? Is that?
No, if you got it out of Diadem, it's your diabetes.
No, in Latin, I believe it would be closer to Beatus.
Yeah, Beatus or something.
So you get words. That's rank 13 to 100 will get the Writ of Commendation, which is the one that we can't pronounce. So congratulations. Did anybody in here?
No.
Get
but
it?
We had to cancel.
Oh, good joke. No.
We had to cancel raid Thursday because Goldsmith. Number 2 Goldsmith, number 3 Leatherworker, and number 4 Botanist are in my stack.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's
They're
awesome.
really serious about it.
We were like,
we will
really
not raid
crazy.
today, so you can keep it.
I was like, all right, it's the first time. You just want to make sure you maintain your rank. Fine, we cannot raid, since there were 3 of them.
Right.
I know a lot of people who got in on it, and even some people who didn't think that they were in that 1 to 100. Who had one show up in their mailbox, which is awesome because it is fun to see this sort of like reward for something outside of just, I don't know, a PvP competitive season or something. Like this is kind of a unique new ranking that we have. And it's been really fun watching everybody open it up and get excited about all the energy they put into crafting and gathering.
It's a little scary, to be honest. Yeah. People were jumping huge amounts.
It's wild. I mean, you get that on any kind of like a score leaderboard, right? Where you see like, oh, okay, here's like the bottom, and then like you get to like the top, and you're just like, what in the world, right? And sometimes even that between that 1 and 2 spot can be just ridiculous.
Yeah. But everybody has, well, not everybody, but a lot of people have a lot of free time because they're like, go home, you don't have work. Well, I guess I'll work in the game.
Guess I'll craft.
Yeah.
Netflix and craft.
Yeah. I do hope they find a way to keep this type of leaderboard, like move to Alamigo, something. It doesn't even have to be restoration, but keep this because it's so good to have in the game.
Yeah,
it's fun. It drives people to want to like work towards something in a time frame in a way that's not just, I don't know, grinding for a relic or doing whatever sort of things like that, right? And it gets exciting for everybody, whether or not you're participating, because like there's no way I was gonna make it on that board. Right. I'm literally using Diadem to just level the things I never leveled, right? Mm-hmm. But it's been super fun regardless, and it is really cool to see people just, talking about like, oh my gosh, today I'm X rank and I'm up here and I'm down there. And I think it gets everybody excited for it. I feel excited. And I'm not even close to being on there. So
yeah, all my gatherers were 80 already, but I pretty much only had my crafters to 71. They're all 80 now, but you need certain amounts of materials to get anywhere with that. So I jumped into the Diadem probably like 4 or 5 times and had extra stuff because the nodes you hit are a little bit random. Maybe jumping ahead a little bit in chat here, but they're you can't go to a node and know what's on it and be like, I specifically want this thing. You just have to pick up everything.
It's really nice in that regard. Because I went through and me and my wife were going through a little bit, and she's got all her crafters already up. And so she was just kind of taking whatever, and she was crafting like the rest of the day. She about capped on scripts. That's how much stuff she got.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I ended up with a bunch of leftover materials for stuff that I didn't plan on making. So when it rolled around to that time when those people in my static were like, we have to maintain, I'm like, do you need some of this? I have 200.
They're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Give us everything.
That was my contribution.
I felt so useful because there was something, I don't know if it was like a water or clear spring water or Ishgardians, I don't know.
Yep.
But I, for once, because I've been leveling them, I had it. And I can't even do, when I first started out, I couldn't even do any of the other nodes, right? I'm just doing like the first gatherable thing on each of the nodes. And somebody said like, Rook, I could really use this. And I got to, for the first time in my existence in Final Fantasy, be like, I have 200 of it. You can take it. You made me my crafter set for the crafter I know nothing about. Take the water from me. Like, I was so excited. It is a big effort, and I think it's fun to be able to support, you know, even if you aren't on the leaderboard, it's still fun to be able to support the people who are.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're already kind of touching on it, right? Nice little segue here. So with this patch, we got the next round of Ishgard restoration stuff, right? And we also got
so pretty
Diadem 3.0 too. Yeah.
Yes.
I was checking out the firmament last night. And I've done one of the works so far. But I've been a little absent this week with work and stuff. And I'm really surprised how much that map has expanded with this update. It's going pretty good.
It's quite large now.
Yeah.
And
really...
I like, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's really fun to see the fates actually have a dynamic effect on everything. Yeah. You know, seeing things get cleared and open up, and it kind of affects things in the landscape in a way that fates haven't in the past. And I mean, it's kind of unique to Ishgard, obviously, because we have this new content, but I really love seeing that. And it makes it feel like if you were there and you were a part of it, that's a little piece of you that has, you know, opened the way and has actually affected this map, which is such a new and interesting experience. I really love it.
Yeah,
Valmung has finished all the way through as far as we can. So you can actually walk up to some of the large and small and medium plots now and be like, oh, that's what's going to go here. It's pretty cool.
We're almost there, but it's nice. I mean, because you look at each installment of this game, right? With 2.0, we had Mordona, right, that we were building up. We had Revenant's Toll. Then we get Idleshire. But this time we are affecting it. It's not just like Doma again, right? Doma was like the test bed for this. And so when we get all of these things done for patch 5.21, we'll get some quests. So we'll get like 5 quests focused on Ishgard Restoration, and then there's 4 side quests that open up. One of them has one of the requirements tied to the Nath stuff. So like there's even more story that's coming with that, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to jumping into that. Yeah. So Diadem 3.0. They've tried so many times to get Diadem.
Yeah, it's basically what Diadem became. So if you liked what Diadem became, which was just go gather stuff, then it's the same, except now they gave you a cool gun to give you a jump ahead on materials.
I really like the special nodes. So there's like 4 different types of weather in Diadem. And so when those pop, there's special nodes, right, that can occur. And so, if you're just mining or doing your gathering and you see a little icon just kind of pop up somewhere, like there's a new node, go get it. If you don't see it when the weather changes, switch over between your botanist and your miner and you'll see it. But I really like the aesthetic of these nodes. Like one of the minor ones, it's like a little volcano, like that lights up. There's lava, they're visually amazing. And I wish that some of the special nodes just outside of Diadem were like this. Is really cool looking instead of just like a thing on a tree that you hit, right?
Watching them come on is pretty cool too, actually. Like if you happen to be next to one when it powers up, if you will. It's a little animation. Yeah. It's nifty.
I mean, I think all of this is testing for the future of crafting and gathering, and I think it's going very well so far.
I want to see more nodes like this for sure. Yeah.
It's so chill, but it's nice that there is something in it for people who aren't just leveling or people who may have not like gone super hard on some of the things and the materials. Because I knew a lot of people when it first came out that were going like, well, I mean, if I already am at 80, I mean, why am I going to be spending a lot of time in there? And so seeing that they had these little details, and obviously like there's materials you can get there much more easily and in larger quantities and all sorts of stuff. But I mean, having a nice sort of bridge between new players who need to level and players who might be working on higher stuff and getting like special rare things from those nodes and get this like cool kind of experience is really nice to see. And I'm so happy that they did away with the Eureka instancing nonsense where like you can go in as a party, you can be whatever levels, you can go and get your experience, it doesn't matter, you're not gimping people. Like that has been so fun, and you don't get like you know, you can go in and out and people can join you in the instance, and minus not being able to go to another server and then queue in with people there. That's kind of frustrating with some of the friends I have that are elsewhere, but it's been really smooth and really nice to see players, I think, of all different experience ranges enjoy the zone.
And I think the big benefit of that too, even looking at like ocean fishing, right, which was another kind of weird, relaxing, niche kind of bit of content that we got with this main patch. Yeah, like lower people can kind of have a lesser effect. Like they still contribute, don't get me wrong, right? They can still catch fish, but really with the Diadem, there's no group thing, right? There's nothing that everybody in the Diadem in that instance is contributing to in any way, and so you can go in solo and it's fine. You can go in party and it's fine, and it's not going to have an effect on others. And I think that's really important. Because, you know, you look back at Eureka, if people started leaving, oh, I guess we can't do, you know, spawn this NM anymore, or we don't have enough people to take this thing on. But this is just in and out and do whatever you need to. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, or you have a friend who is just getting into it for the first time, and so you want to instance in with them, and you get in there and you literally can't be in a party with them because you are so high level. Like the gap is so big that you are essentially making it so they get no experience, which is so frustrating if you're going to be doing this kind of content and it's a long haul and old players want to help new players or friends want to help friends. To make it so that you can't group together is so like, oh man, even if there's not like a party sync or something, it's tough. So it was nice getting into Diadem and just being like, we can all do it. We can just all go in there and have fun.
Smack some nodes.
Smack some nodes.
Looping I mean, back really around, during the special nodes, apparently you can also get special fish. I haven't done it myself, and I haven't done research into it, but I did see lots of people shouting about it.
Yeah, so it is a thing. So with the weather, there's something special for everybody. I mean, it's I think fishermen get something for each weather. But with between like botanist and miner though, you don't always have something. They kind of trade off, I think. But
they probably need double the time on Fisher to get the thing. I like I said, I haven't done it, so I don't know if it's more difficult.
It's a little Fisher's a little more. It's a little more involved than the other ones.
Exactly.
But like I said, I saw a bunch of people shouting about it. The shout chat in those zones is so active, and some of the stuff you see is not good. But most of the time, most of the time it's just people talking. Yeah. So it does support some social aspects. Rook's like, I don't think so. No, it's all bad.
No, there's like 2 sentences of good, probably in one.
I have seen some questionable shouts, but you know, it made me think. Right. It you know, made me wish or think back to like Anemos a little bit, right? You know, guys, remember the bear puns and those were the days, right? Like it was little reminders of those wonderful shout channel times. But
one of the weirdest things, it's not weird. It's actually, I find kind of helpful. The fact that when you take all these materials you gathered, you go outside and you go to turn them in, has to be in stacks of 10. It's like, and that kind of makes me annoyed, because what if I got 11 and I just want to leave? I don't want that one hanging out of my inventory, and I'm not going to throw it away, because that's the kind of person I am.
I was like, no, you're not. No.
Yeah. See, I hadn't realized that, because I had some stuff and I thought you just needed to redeem it right away, because I've had some stuff that I couldn't exchange for whatever reason. I'm like, oh, maybe I forgot to do it right when I left, or something, or there was something else, but I probably just didn't have 10. Okay.
I definitely have taken those unfull stacks, gone back in, added to them, and been able to turn them in.
Okay, so that
it might just have been a glitch for you, but
or you know, it's new content and I'm still figuring things out. Hey, look at that, as well. Learning.
But, I also like it because in any normal situation, I'm using that like extra 50 or extra 100 GP to try and eke out just a couple more objects. But in this Diadem, there's no point, because I'm just going to screw myself over. So I just hit the one button, get 5 of whatever, or 5 extra. Yeah. So 1 extra on each hit of whatever. And I end up with multiples of 5 or 10.
There you go.
And it keeps all my shit even.
So like every like 15 minutes for me, I'll just take a look at, because for me, I'm only really like, my armor is the only one that I've been crafting on, and so I know exactly the pieces I need. So I'll look at that in my inventory, be like, all right, this one's a little lower, so I'll pop the quantity on that one when I see that for another 10-15 minutes, and then I'll look again and kind of even it out as I go. The one thing that I thought was really interesting, right? So we have the compressed Aether gauge. We haven't talked about this yet. So Diadem used to be PvE content, and so there's still monsters up there, right? But they don't aggro, and so you get what's essentially a limit break gauge with like 6 or 8 charges or something. Yeah. And so once you fill one of these out, you have a duty action that you just pull out a bazooka or a rocket launcher, and you just one shot. And what's really cool about these mobs is each one has essentially is like a node type, right? Because all these nodes have like these materials, right? And all those materials can be attributed to one of the mobs in Diadem. And so if you kill that, you get everything that you'd get from that node, and you get like 20 of them, which is really cool. I thought that was a really interesting way to do it. I think for me, like, I almost wish that there were a couple mobs that like needed multiple charges to take out. I mean, it's nice. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's nice that it's simplified and easy and stuff like that. But it feels weird, like that you would be able to store up so many charges, right? Like, why so many if you don't need multiples for stuff? Is my thinking of it. But
I think they could do something really cool with that. I mean, right now we sort of have, I don't want to say the bare bones, because I mean, it's fun. I've actually enjoyed Diadem. I like going in there and being able to just completely zone out and just chill and like hang out and talk or whatever I want to do, or just sort of do it in between other stuff. Like, it's so nice. But I am curious, like in the future, if they are going to like adapt this space so that, we get more stuff added in for future crafter gatherer content, even beyond Ishgard, or what's going to happen, or if this is going to be like a new zone that we get each expansion for, crafters gatherers. I don't know, but they could do some really neat stuff with like special monsters that spawn that drop some kind of unique material. And maybe if you've held on to a charge, you can go and you can hit it. Or I mean, even like right now we don't have fates in the zones, but if they did something where there was a reason where maybe you group up with other people, or you have multiple charges of your cannon, and then you could use it on those, that would be kind of fun. I think that would be
funny you bring that up, because one of the questions that I think a lot of people, even if you haven't actively thought about it, it's been in the back of your mind. Well, what if we just kill the mob without using the ethereal auger, right? There was actually a video I saw pop up on Twitter a couple days after the patch of just all these gatherers just hitting this mob. And no, it doesn't drop anything. You have to use the auger.
I love the idea of just a whole bunch of miners pickaxing something
just
to death.
Getting one-shotted as they take this thing out. Like, I love it.
There were so many people, like the person who was taking the video, as they moved around, people were disappearing and reappearing. There were
the entire zone. The entire zone was on that mob for science, and I love it. It's great. So it's cool. I think, we talked a little bit about the idea of what if people already have their stuff leveled up, right? So for me, before 5.2, miner was my only gatherer at cap. And so ocean fishing came out, and in like 2 or 3 days that was done. That was capped. That was easy. And then, we also have now the Guitari, and now with Diadem. So I took my botanist, and I've been doing that. I think I ended up going from like 77 to 80 in one round of Diadem. Like, it's so ridiculously easy to get these things leveled now. Thank you. But it's interesting, I think, too, like people that have these at cap, right? They're like, well, why would I want to go? Like, what's in it for me, right? That kind of thought, because we've talked a little bit about like, why are they adding this type of content now? Like, it feels like that there are other things to gain, but like, I think for a lot of people, because this is more of there are gathering and stuff like that, but it's a very PvE based game, right? There's more content for PvE than there is for not. And it's interesting, I think, to not have XP be like a big worry or concern, right? Because you might get people, expansion hits, their crafters are leveled like a month after release, right? So this content's not going to do anything for XP. But you can get Sky Builder scripts, and you can get all sorts of stuff with it. You can get mounts. Easily. You can get a Chocobo Paradise like barista apron now if you want.
It's so cute.
So cute.
It is.
I love the apron. Yep. I love the bread emote. I love all the stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff. We'll get into all the rewards here in a little bit, but I mean,
additionally, the little menu that comes up with the 5 nodes on it, there's still 3 more spaces. So in the future, all they really have to do is add some more stuff.
Yeah, I fully expect them to keep adding items as we go through the rest of 5.x. I mean, it's weird because we had that division between the first round of Ishgard stuff and now the second one. So the way that this works, you go into Diadem and you gather these items, and then you have to get them like approved, which then lets you craft with them. So the original recipes for Ishgardian Restoration stuff don't work anymore. And so they basically swapped them out with these new things. So I don't expect them to really add more of the like general recipes, maybe more expert recipes, if anything. But they could very easily, I think, if we have content similar to this after 5.x, if we're rebuilding Ralger's Reach or something like that, they could very easily very easily just swap out all of these items in Diadem with a fresh set and still have that content be there. You're still doing the same thing, but it's for a different area. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Have you guys, a lot of people I found actually will just go from node to node following, right? But the lower islands don't have nodes on them. They just have multiples of the couple of mobs that are in the top islands. So when you aren't paying attention and you build up like 6 to 8 charges, you can head down to those islands and kill 6 to 8 mobs in a row. And just leave because you now have like 200 things.
Yeah.
See, I usually just my method, right? I've only been in there like twice. But I'll go around, I'll get what I need, I'll focus, because I know what I'm building. I'm not an Omni crafter, right? So I can't. I have a very specific narrow set of things that I'm looking to get. And so I'm at the point now where I know which mobs will give me those items. It'll still give me a bunch of stuff I don't need, but I know if if I need like Luminite ore, I know to kill that thing, right? And I'll just go around, right, hitting all the nodes, and when I see them, if I have a charge, I just take them out then. The one thing that really sucks, right? Talking about inventory, is so when you come out, right, you have to basically get your stuff like approved or appraised. And so there's like an auto option, which is great if you have the inventory space. And I think probably like 99.9% of people that go into Diadem aren't going to leave until their inventory is packed.
Right.
Which means you then need to do one at a time.
I've been doing Chocobo Saddlebag. Throw 5 items in the Chocobo Saddlebag. Then you have to make sure to do the stacks that are even 10s first. So even if you auto, you can like click off and kick the
it should prioritize that, right? Give us a little tweak that prioritizes that.
You are way more sorted than I am, because my Chocobo Saddlebag is a place of nightmares. Where I shove all the stuff that is awkward and that I try that needs to stack up for whatever reason, be that special boss fate rewards or X totems or
that's what I have in mind too.
Or like, oh my god, the amount of just Gordian shenanigans that I have shoved in that bag because I'm like, someday I might play a class that wants to use that gear from Alexander. I won't do it. It will sit in there forever.
That's my inventory.
I have a retainer that takes up all like the Gordian stuff, friggin' primal totems from 2 tiers or 2 expansions ago.
Right.
What I keep in my saddlebag is the raid tier of stuff, the like maybe last 3 relevant primals, and like the other page is stuff that I don't want to desynth yet because I could get better points out of it later type deal.
I just have stuff all like I had Pagos boots in my saddlebag for some reason. Like I don't know why.
They're a good item. They're very beautiful.
Yeah, this is one of those moments, and especially now that they're focusing on crafting and gathering a bit more, this is one of those moments where playing other MMOs gives me this hope of like, well, crafting and gathering inventory is a thing in many other games.
Mm-hmm.
Could we maybe get it in our game? Could I
Please.
maybe have a separate thing to put any sort of crafting materials, or if it like just something, you know, where they could condense it and stack it and have it just
They would
go.
lose so much money. They would lose like
Retainers,
$6 for me alone.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just, it would be so
It would
convenient
be very
because
nice.
it's funny, like 14 I think offers more raw inventory space without additional purchase than almost any other MMO on the market, but because there's so much that you can do, you can have all of the combat classes, you can have all the crafters and all the gatherers. You have this Ishgard stuff which has its own unique collectible like, you know, gathering, you know, materials. It's just such a mess. It would be so nice to have something that, yeah, even if it was just like an itemized list where it said you've got 50 of these, or, you know, oh, it'd be so good.
Yeah, no, that'd be really nice. I mean, even because obviously, like you're able to search for stuff, right? And it'll go through your trainers and all that stuff. Obviously, with World Visit, that may not be something that they could do, right? But if I'm like on my home world and I have like my default 2 retainers, like if I have crafting materials on there, like if I could craft and access that, like hell yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Making me wish I had added a question when we sent that off to Yoshida-san.
I've been hopping
one.
around servers trying to help people, and they'll be like, "Oh, I need to go and get blah blah piece of equipment." I'm like, "Don't buy that. I can make it for you. I have to go back to Belmont first. Give me 5 minutes."
Right.
Exactly.
And
it's probably because they're really actually items and they shouldn't be. Because if they're really items, then you can't get to them when you're not attached to your world. Like they should be more akin to like currency. I don't know how they would do that, but we've seen games do it before. So.
Oh yeah, same thing with like with fashion, unlockable fashion logs and stuff, right? The idea that it's not so much an actual like hard item that you are carrying, but instead is like a piece of data that's just affiliated with, you know, oh, well, you have unlocked X thing or appearance, or you have, you know, X amount of these things.
Checkbox.
Yeah, like a little checkbox, you know.
It would definitely save them a lot of space. But, you know, that's a big change, so who knows?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're always talking about, you know, like when we had the inventory increase with, gosh, what was it, 4.x? And it's like, there's so much data we're moving, you guys. Like, it's like, all right, well, I'll let you. It's okay. It's okay.
So I had a weird thing happen. It's not that weird, but it's a little weird because Diadem is an instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sent my friend a tell, and they were in Diadem, and they got it.
Huh.
Were they in the same instance of Diadem as you? Maybe?
I was not in. I was in the Firmament.
That's strange.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
Another friend of ours tried to also send her a tell, and it did not go through. And I was like,
what? It must be Ishgard.
I don't know. I was like, maybe Firmament and Diadem are in the same like relative
They're tied
zones. Yeah, and maybe we
like a
happened...
region thing.
Exactly. So maybe we happened to be in the same one because he was also in the Firmament trying to send a tell to her, and it didn't work.
Interesting.
So I'm like, I don't understand what. But she was definitely in Diadem. I was definitely in Firmament, and it went through, and we were like, huh. Very strange.
Right.
There's some interesting coding going on somewhere there that got slipped through. Yeah.
Pulling back the curtain will reveal one worker who's like, "Oh, it does that? I didn't even." Oh.
Uh-oh.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Weird. So
I don't even
know
enough about coding to even try and explain how that happened.
Right.
There you go.
Nobody does when they
I didn't expect it to go through, and then I was like, I just got an answer.
That's weird. Something else that they've added with this update are expert crafts. And so I'm not super into this. I looked at it and I was scared. So I have a macro, right? The old 1-button macro to do like the level 80 whatever to get scripts, right? To put this a little bit into context, so the difficulty rating of that is 3,000 493. All right, 3493. The expert craft difficulty is 9181.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Wow.
more than twice the difficulty, which is just, oh my god.
So, a friend of mine asked me what I was working on, and this is relevant to this kind of. I did the 70 recipe all the way up until 80 for all my jobs. Everything is 80 now. Yeah. Anyway,
Congrats.
yes. And my gear is all 71. So, when they were like, "Hey, do you want a macro for this?" I was like, "It won't work because my gear is bad, and I'm basically waiting on procs of certain things to get extra quality or extra progression." And they're like, "Oh, you're already expert crafting." So apparently that's how that works. And I was already doing it, but just on a lower challenge level.
Since you can probably barely do it with the numbers as they are, it's like you're probably waiting for procs and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So expert crafting minus 10 on everything, minus 10 levels on everything. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's just they wanted to eliminate that idea of macro crafting, right? So they have some situational stuff in there, which I think is fine. It makes me think a little bit of like some of the crafting back in like Heaven's Word. I think was like that a little bit when they added the specialty stuff. It makes you think. Have you guys seen the new crafting tools? They I just happened to see this. I was in like Guildmore and somebody was crafting with one. The new carpenter tool, the saw. It's like a chainsaw.
What?
Like it animates and everything.
That's awesome.
That's
I'm
awesome.
I want a level just to get that
Thanks,
weapon. Like
machinists.
that's cool as hell. Like I love it.
I honestly feel, if they make a robot, they can do a chainsaw. I feel like expert crafts, in addition to just getting fun new appearance things, right? Expert crafts actually does make me want to get into like an end game for crafters, because one thing that always did kind of turn me off to, I think, crafting and gathering when I was just sort of looking at it from the outside in, was the fact that I was just like, okay, so people just look up like 100 macros and then just put the macros in, and then you just sit there like a macro factory. Like that never seemed very fun to me. I was like, for a game that has a system that's based all around, having a crafter class or a gatherer class that has its own abilities that you acquire and that you should in theory be able to use like you would a rotation to, like, it's one of those things where it felt very strange to me that there were just these macros that people would copy and paste and use all the time. So I like the idea of having some kind of challenge for crafters that is based around really, really doing it yourself, either like in the moment, or it'd be so cool if down the road they added more or like built up this expert system too, where, maybe different things that you do could have a different outcome for a certain, item, or that like would vary what it, I don't know, how it turns out or appears or looks, or I don't know, that could be super neat because there's a different sort of content that you can do around the idea of creating something as opposed to killing something.
Right.
And I think they're kind of experimenting with that. And from what I've heard from a lot of people, the expert crafts are really tough, but it seems like people are really enjoying like having to tackle them or do them when they get there.
It's definitely content geared for those that are these like crazy omnicrafter type people, right? It's content that they are excited about, right? Like if a raid drops, they may just be like, oh, that's cool, but like if it's like harder crafting that gives you an excuse to kind of use the knowledge that you have about this stuff in a way that you haven't really done. I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's see. I think that was most of what we had. I think we covered most of that. Kupo of Fortune was another thing.
I love it.
So originally, right? They talked about Ishgard Restoration. There was this idea that non-crafters and gatherers could participate somehow. That's not what this is, though.
I know. I was so disappointed though, because this was my fault, right? Because when Diadem released, I just hadn't looked at the details of Kupo of Fortune, and in my head, I still had, oh hey, this is supposed to be a way for you to get these things with like a random chance, even if you're not super high level. So I went in guns blazing. I gathered a whole bunch of stuff. I went out and I was like, I'm gonna craft a rope. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get Kupo card for it. And I crafted a rope, and then I went to turn it in, and I was like, where'd my Kupo card? And I realized that you actually had to make like the gazebo or whatever it was. And I'm sitting there going, I don't even know half the things that go into this. I just spent 2 hours in the diadem, and I don't think I got any of these materials.
That's how I was. I had this revelation because I've always been doing like that higher one for like the scripts and stuff, and I'm like, I could just do the lower stuff for stamps. I'm like, I had this like, whoa, and I turned the first one in, and I was like, oh, never mind. They thought about that too.
I didn't learn that until my very last turn in. My very last job to 80. Funny enough, armorer.
Okay.
I had 4 stamps when I turned everything in. So I made one more of the thing I was making, turned it in. I didn't get another stamp, and I was like, oh, I see. So I did have all the materials because I'd been gathering everything, just to make sure that I could give stuff to friends. But I had all the stuff and suffered through making this next thing because my gear is still bad. And was able to turn it in for my last thing. But now that everything's 80, I have to make the more difficult things for stamps, and I'm sad.
Yeah.
Boo.
I like the rewards though, and I will say the one thing that I do appreciate. So the way it works, right? You have 4 different like scratch off sections. One of them is a guaranteed rank 2 through 5 item, and then the other one, like, it's random. You could get nothing, or you might be able to get like the rank 1 prize or one of the other ones. And I've done, I don't know, like maybe a dozen of these or something so far, and I feel like even if you take that risk, right, like it still feels not impossible to get like the rank 1 thing, which I really appreciate. I haven't gotten any yet. My wife ended up getting the Weaver Paisa minion.
Yay!
Which is super awesome. But you can get the new parasols that they included. These are from Kupo of Fortune. There's the Eat Bread emote. I thought both of them were.
The other one you buy with scripts.
My mistake. Oh, that's right. So it's still part of this, but not Kupo of Fortune. Yeah. There's the Weaver and the Culinary and Paisa minions. The Dommel mount you can get from this. And you can also get the Coffer o Kupos, which is a whole wardrobe that makes you look fancy as all hell, which is really cool. Have you guys? What's your luck been like on Kupo of Fortune?
Pretty good. I haven't gotten the Coffer o Kupos. I don't really like the outfit that much, so I'm fine with that. I think I've gotten everything else except for the Threadpuller Paisa. Again, I'm probably gonna get murder for this later, but Paisas are cool, I guess. So I'm like, So depending like what shows up as the prize, I have almost all the first prize things that I want for now, and I don't really want any more fireworks. So sometimes I'll just pop that side guy.
There you go. I'll take some of the heat off of you so you don't get murdered. I was going through cleaning my inventory a little bit. I still have my unopened 2B coffer. I haven't even opened it yet. It's just sitting there.
No, I got the chef one. I've gotten like 5 bread emotes, so all of my friends have bread emote that aren't crafting. I did get the Dammel mount. What else?
Do have to ask a quick poll of everybody here on Aetheryte Radio. Do you think the Dammel mount is ugly?
As a Final Fantasy XI player, I resent that remark.
I've always thought Dammels were ugly. Always.
They're giraffes.
I resemble that remark.
It's not a giraffe. It is the lumpiest, most bulbous giraffe dinosaur.
They are Windersian giraffes. They have a petting zoo in Windurst where you can go and see them.
It's one of those things that's kind of weird, ugly, cute.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, I have it just because, as Zen was saying, like, everybody has a whole bunch of extra ones. So someone in our static just sent me a mail with everything in it. I mean, not the coffer.
And that's the nice thing, right, about these, because, you know, like I kind of mentioned, like, it doesn't feel like they're impossible to get, and of course they're sellable. So, you know, a few weeks in, there's going to be 1 million on the chat saying Dommel mount's already going for 20k. So there you go. I'm going to go get me a Dommel mount later.
I got 3 Verdant partitions, which was nice.
There you go.
Ooh,
Yes.
those are good. Those are worth a fair amount too, because people like to use them in decorating a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're 100K on our server still.
Oh, okay.
So every time they drop a little bit below that, my friends are like, "Go buy some."
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the bread and the parasol are like the rarer things that I've gotten from these so far.
How does the parasol work?
So it's really weird because back in the day, right? Frankfurt Fan Fest, right? Yoshida's like, hey, so like we're gonna do an umbrella in the game, and we want it to be a mount, but we don't know how it's gonna work yet. Should we just write it? Is it like Mary Poppins? Like, what are we gonna do? And now in 2020, we finally get the umbrellas. It's an extra. It's like just like an extra random ability thing. Like once you get the item, right, you use it, and you go into like your actions, and it's just like extras, and it's just an umbrella, and you just click on it, and you just hold the umbrella. That's it. That's all it is.
Okay.
It's just a very odd, weird system thing where it's just.
It's great though, because if it's raining, you just pop the parasol, and suddenly your immersion feels so much better.
I want to walk into an area and see a bunch of people when it's raining just pop out their parasols. That would be so cute. Oh my goodness. But it works like kind of like a mount or a pet. You click it and it shows up, and you can't have out a pet. And even though they told us you could have them out on mounts, you cannot.
You can't.
I don't remember them saying that.
They definitely did.
They did. I think they even showed. I thought I saw an image of like on a mount with the parasol.
That sounds vaguely familiar. Either way,
have you tried it on a chocobo? Because maybe it's specific mounts.
Oh, maybe
right?
you could just use it on your choco.
Like if you're on like the shark, right? You're like laying down. You're not gonna like be able to like. They're not gonna do that.
You're
it's a lot of extra modeling work.
Stretched out as far as it can go.
Yeah, that's weird. But
it's really cute.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, because I got one in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one in the mail and I couldn't use it, and I'm like, I don't know what this is for.
You know, in 11, when you would change gear, your character model would flash for a second.
Yeah.
When you pop out the parasol, you flash, and it just gave me a flashback to 11.
Interesting.
It's weird.
Interesting.
Fusion's like, I hate you, and you're weird sometimes.
I'm just wondering why now, like programming wise.
What's the code in that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like it almost. Yeah, I mean, it feels like when you do get on a mount, right? Like your character vanishes and then reappears on the mount. It's almost like it an
animation swap or something.
Yeah, like loads you into a different state for your character or something, right? Where you've got like this umbrella, it feels like.
Silent in chat says, can't use on the chocobo confirmed.
Oh, no.
Can't use it on mounts.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
Dare they? That's fine. It'll come in time, probably.
Whatever.
And even if it doesn't, I don't really care.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, I like it.
Next Fan Fest, I want to see somebody during like the Q&A. Can we use parasols on mounts? And you just going
parasols. Yeah, they're fun. I mean, they do have this whole new category for them, which was surprising to me. The fact that, I mean, like everybody said, at first I could not figure out how to use them. I was like, is it an emote? Why is it not in my emotes?
Yeah, exactly. I had to look it up, and there's no guide yet.
There's no guide. It doesn't like prompt you to say like, you've acquired a parasol, use it from the blank action or something.
So Zen, what I'm hearing from you is that this week we can expect the how to use parasol guide up on
up on Gamerscape. But yeah, maybe they'll add some more just special item accessories. I mean, they could. I don't know.
I'm almost a little surprised that we didn't get one for Little Ladies Day.
Yeah, a special
right? An event one.
Yeah. They gotta spread them out. We already got 2.
Yeah, next year.
I want one. I want one that puts galoshes on your feet.
Okay.
That would be cute.
Yeah, just so you have the whole rain getup.
Yeah.
Then you
they can just add galoshes. I mean.
I guess.
Yeah.
But the way they were explaining it during the live letter was they had to figure out how to keep the top half of you dry while your feet got wet while you were holding the umbrella. But if they just add the galoshes, they could let all of you stay dry.
That's true.
You're putting way too much thought in this.
What were you going to say, Charles?
Oh, I don't even remember now.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to joke about the galoshes and then having a little action that makes a splash.
Yes!
So you can splash in puddles. I don't know.
There you go.
Sorry, that's really cute.
It's a little emote. You just use it in the middle of Thanolin, on the sand. Just a little splash. Where's the water coming from?
Aether, that's why.
There's water crystals. The sole of the boot. Yeah. There's a compartment.
If you've never played D&D, this is prestidigitation. It's magic.
It's like like the shoe phone from Get Smart. It's like that, except with Aether crystals in it.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
There you go.
We're doing this.
Some of the other rewards that they added with this patch that you can get with Skybuilder scripts. There's some cool stuff in here. There's the new albino curricle mount. So if you want to go ride a sheep, you can ride a sheep. I forgot to put the value in for that. It's expensive. It's like 8,000 something. Scripts for that one. There's the we mentioned this, the craftsman's apron, which is like the barista apron with a little chocobo paradise on it. If you want to role play a Starbucks or something, that's 2,200. There's the Emmerich and Estinian paintings, which are really cool. Yes, that was the first thing I bought was the Estinian painting. Those are 900 scripts.
I'm not surprised.
It's funny. I don't know if I think I did tweet this. A friend of ours loves Emmerich, right? We're constantly going back and forth on Emmerich versus Estinian, right? Mm-hmm. So I got the Estinian picture and I showed it to her. I sent her the screenshot. She's like, "Oh, how could you get the other one?" So I got Emmerich, but then I put it on a partition and had the demon wall poking through it. She's like, "You need to remove that right now." It was great. We have a new Chocobo barding. We have Machinist barding now, which I feel like I don't use my Chocobo like ever anymore, but I kind of want to get this.
I know. I wish that that's one thing that I wish we could get something more for with our Chocos, because they're such special friends, and you feel like up until you start just collecting a million mounts, you feel like they're special. And of course you can take them on certain things out in the world. Or, you can do some appearance sharing if you're doing racing chocos, like you can like barding and stuff, but it's just not the same. I would love it if we could, I don't know.
Chocobo beauty contests.
Chocobo beauty contest.
It would be such a different game if, and I think part of that, right, is that idea that we have mounts that aren't chocobos. I think it really takes away from that idea of barding and like originally, back in 1.0, all we had was like the chocobo. That was it. And then they're like, hey, it's a Gubu mount. And we're like, what? That's not a chocobo. Like, this is weird. And then of course ARR hits and it's just, here's a whole bunch of here's an Aramon, there's a behemoth. Like, okay, sure, we'll just go crazy with it. But
I and I have a different mount for every. You're like, yeah, that's true. No, I have a different mount.
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah, I have a different mount for every job.
Okay.
So they're like part of my glamour. So my chocobo does come up like 2 or 3 times.
I have on different jobs, I have a lot of extra hotbar space, like kind of on the side with the way that my stuff is set up. So I have a few different mounts, and some of them vary, between the job. But
I did always think it would be fun if they somehow made the breeding game from Choco Racing actually relevant to your chocobo lineage or something, where you could, rather than doing speed boosts through hunt currency or fate farming now, which you can kind of do, they actually had something where you could, I don't know, breed lineages of chocobos so that they had slightly different appearances and different things, and maybe they had special abilities that you could even just use while you were out in the wild, or you could get
11, right? 11 did that, didn't they?
I think so.
You're like, yes, exactly like that.
Well, because then if you went through all of that, I think that'd be so fun. You could have a little quest, but you could also then do all the breeding, and then you could have a mount that would maybe have some of those little advantages or things. Yeah, and I think that would be so fun. And it would give you some reason.
We have mount actions now. Just give at the end of the thing, you get a mount action.
Oh,
there you go. So to clarify, with 11, right? I remember this update. They had artwork and everything for it. There were a couple different types of chocobos, right? Like the beak could change a little bit, and
it was more aesthetic than running.
They introduced chocobo raising, and they also had the chocobo circuit for racing. And then somebody found out the algorithm and gambled that and made a bunch of money. Yep. But it was that, and you could do different colors and stuff. So it wasn't anything crazy FF7 walk across water or anything like that, right? It was just it was all aesthetics, and we have that now. And I'd be surprised if they did anything more than what we have now.
I doubt they will.
With that,
it would be so fun. I love breeding mini games. I love genetic. I don't know, going through the genetic trees It'd be so cool. I'd be so down. And then I'd have a reason to wear all the new barding that they gave us and the new one from Sky Builder.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know the status of like the Chocobo subsystem at all. Like I don't know. Like they could give us more barding and maybe subdivide the barding and then, you know, have more items you can put on. I don't know that we can expect anything more than that probably.
No.
Who knows?
I'd be very surprised to be. I mean, gosh, you remember when they said they were going to have like the Magitech mount be like a companion?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, that never happened. They're like, what? They're like, we don't need this. This doesn't need to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And then we had 2 actions for the mount, and that was it. I think that's probably what came out of that.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Going down the list more, there is the new Cerberus pup minion. That's 1200. There's a new T-Rex minion that you can get.
Malone.
As well, Malone. Yep.
He's well cute.
He is. There's the new hairstyle, Controlled Chaos. That's 1800 scripts.
So pretty. I love it.
And then all of the new dyes that they released can be gotten with Sky Builder scripts. So there's Ruby Red, Cherry Pink, Canary Yellow, Vanilla Yellow, Dragoon Blue, and Turquoise Blue. Those can all be gotten for 100 Sky Builder scripts each. And then you have your fancy dyes, the Gunmetal Black, the Pearl White, and the Metallic Brass. Those are 500 each. I love that Gunmetal Black.
It makes stuff look like leather.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pearl White is also gorgeous. Like, I love that pearlescent white color. It's so pretty.
And as much as they call it brass, I feel like Metallic Brass is more of a gold that doesn't make your eyes bleed.
Yes, yes. It definitely does feel more of a gold than a brass, but definitely.
I appreciate my eyes not bleeding. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean,
the feature.
That original gold.
Because I mean, some of these colors. I mean, you look at like the ruby red and the cherry pink, and it's just like, hello, like.
Seen a lot of cherry pink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I would love.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, I love that they put more dyes in because
yes,
we have a lot of dyes, but. I mean, of course, in a game where customization is a huge thing, and we all know that glamour's the real end game, having even more options is always better. So I was really excited when I saw these come out. And the fact that you can get them through like the scripts and stuff, that's awesome too, because that gives you some additional options besides just, you know, cashing in whatever referral rewards you have, or, you know, spending an arm and a leg, or spending real money to get some of the things like the black and stuff like that. So like, I love having these. And I'm hoping that, like, maybe with the future Crafter Gatherer stuff, we get more dyes, and even some that are more muted or slightly more subtle, or have different, like...
We need more purples now. Purple is the color with the least amount of options in it now.
F that. We need light greens.
Yo, don't be hating on my purple.
Fusion's face as you said, F that.
How
so good.
Dare you,
so
ma'am.
Hurt, so appalled.
The lightest green is not light enough for a house. For the house, man.
Okay.
Just not.
I see.
It's not. I'm working on a room for an alt right now, and I cannot get the colors the way I want them. Sniff, sniff. Wait.
Like, am I gonna change the lighting to get it to work? I don't know.
It's rough.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah.
It's rough.
Hashtag first Eorzea problems.
I really like the red though. Like it's super bright and in your face, but it's got that extra kick that Dalamud just didn't have.
How could Dalamud not have the extra kick? Like Dalamud red should be the most red. It should
if you compare them now,
the most red.
Yeah, it really should be the most red.
When you dye something with Dalamud red, it should just start playing the music in the background from Ruby Weapon. And
as you walk around, it
the
drifts
most
behind
red.
You.
Just punches you in the face with its vibrancy.
If there was a Gaius black, would that not be the darkest black?
Like his soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it would be closer to like a gunmetal, because that was the color of his armor.
Okay. See.
we already have the what is it, pure black? Is that
right.
Yeah.
Yes, but if it wasn't what you expected, if
they
were like Gaius black and it was
black.
gray. Yeah, wolf black, you know.
You know, you say that, right? But we have Dragoon blue, and I don't know what about it makes it Dragoon.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this and I'm like,
it's intense.
It's a very vibrant blue, and I'm like, I can't think of any Dragoons in this series that had that kind of blue. Like, why is it Dragoon blue?
Yeah,
I was
that's
trying
just
to
what I'm
think if
saying.
there. I mean, in the rest of Final Fantasy, I was wondering if there was like a bright blue dragoon.
All the dragoons, they're like a bright blue, but like a cyanish color, bright blue, right? Like a light. Yeah, it's nothing like that blue, right? So I don't know. I don't know where they came up with that.
I don't know. I really like gunmetal.
I love gunmetal.
So many times when you dye something black, oh my god, it does not match leather, and now you can just dye it gunmetal black, and it'll be the same. Oh my god.
Thank you for the character you adopted for this dye experience. You know,
it's just so good. Okay.
It is. I mean, I like the pure black, but I also for a long time I really liked the silver as well. Like I've got my
less eye bleeding.
My Alexander father gear like dyed in like that metallic silver, and it looks really cool. But like gunmetal black, like it's like the perfect like in between, right? It's got a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's black, but it's not silver. Like it's like I want it on everything.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they go ahead.
Oh, I say, however many more golds they want to give us, I will take them, because then you are so right. One of my biggest, most like annoying, it's so minuscule, it doesn't even matter, but it drives me nuts, is that I love the old binding coil sets, but the gold accents on those, like the Dreadworm stuff, it's this weird gold that doesn't match literally anything else in the game. And when you do get a dyeable version of it, you can't dye the gold parts. So for me, I'm like, anytime they give me shades of gold, I am happy. Or even pieces of gear that when you dye them, like they have a metal, like you're dyeing metal. So
you dye it like a brown, and it looks gold.
Yes. For a long time, there's the what is it called in 14?
There's a lot of stuff in 14,
right? Back in Heaven's Word, there was a couple of sets that they took from 11, like the Woots, cuirass and stuff like that. So like that dragoon piece, right? That was from like some of the crazy endgame stuff in 11. So I'm like, I need this piece, and so I needed to dye. I had that glammed with the original AF, the dragoon AF helm, but I'm like, I need to get this dyed right. So it's like I had to go out to like Lenosia, use all my goblin rep from back in the day for those Beast Tribes quests and get like a gobby bag brown dye, because that was like the closest thing that I could get to match it. I want to go back and get a gunmetal and preview it and see how I think that would look really good. Of course, I don't play my dragoon as much now.
You're absolutely right though, Rook. Like, I have certain gloves and boots just because they have the right color, like gold or silver, that only match certain things that you just can't get in the game.
It's hard to get those matches.
And I need those spaces in my glamour toilet. I need them.
Yeah. Nothing drives me crazier.
Check
because I love gold accents on things. And I mean, any of the metallic stuff, right? But there's this part of me that always has this war where I'm just like, just put it all together. Everybody's going to be running by you so fast, they're not going to even know. They'll never notice. And then I just like progressively zoom my camera in closer and closer until I'm just like staring at my own back going, the shade is slightly off.
You AFK, you go to get a drink, you sit down and you just look at your screen and you're just like, that's not right.
Friend. It's right. So I'm very happy, very pleased. We got a new gold brass. It's very good.
It's good.
It's just nice to have these different options that I think make some of the pieces more complementary, because I know there are pieces that I love the style of, but if I just don't have something that matches or will make it match, or I never use them, which is a huge disappointment because the game has so many looks. You want to be able to just get really flexible and make use of all the gear that they've put in and designed for it. So
these
it's nice to have those.
The best metallics so far. End of story.
Yep.
Some of those metallics are, like I said, eye bleeding.
Gosh, yes. Like we you get like the gold and the silver, and you're like, all right. And then you have like the weird, like the red, the turquoisey thing, the purple. Like what? No.
It's so awful unless you're doing a meme.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
The meme colors. There we go.
The green is bad. The yellow is awful. The orange is eh. You can kind of get away with the red on certain things. Sure. The blue is the lighter blue is all right. It's pretty good.
The red would be better if it was more red. I think is the
it's
the
kind
phrasing.
of purpley in light, right?
It's like maroonish, like
It looks like that real life taffeta that has red woven one way and purple woven the other way. So in the light, it kind of changes color.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I was talking about this not too long ago, like wanting to see more dyes added in that are just like have a different special effect, or even at some point like having high level dyes that could be crafted by like max level crafters or something, where you get like a cool effect, like a I don't know, a sparkle, or just like a kind of transparent sheen of like a color over another color, or something that was just, because I mean those metallic ones, the new ones we got, great, but like you are all pointing out, those colored ones are so awful, and it's like I want some special cool dyes that I can use, but I don't want them to make my eyes bleed unless I'm doing a meme, you know?
On that note, it makes me curious. So with talking about that kind of effect on gear, we had that right with the elemental gear from the last leg of Eureka. We should be getting our Shadowbringers AF+1 stuff anytime now.
Yeah, very soon.
Right? Do you guys think that? I mean, obviously, it feels like including that in Ebosia somehow would make sense, but we also don't have an open area for that yet. So we still may be looking at 5.3 before we get any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we'll probably start the relic weapons before the gear even.
We'll get we'll have the weapon for sure from this next patch. Yeah.
I feel like the solution to this dye quote unquote problem though is to get on the forums and tell them how much we love the new dyes. Because how are they gonna know? So if you want new dyes, people, get on them forums. Let Yoshi P know how appreciative you are.
And if there's a color you want, don't go on there and just be like, I want a red that's more red. Find like a hex thing and like give them like, this is the actual color that I want. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Those are super available online. The internet is wonderul.
Open up your Photoshop or Photoshop equivalent. Grab that weird, crazy looking number next to the color. That's what you want.
Yes, and please complain that Dalamud red is not red enough. And suggest hex colors. Yes.
Yeah. They can switch them. Make Dalamud red, Ruby red, and Ruby red can be like glowy or sparkly. Rubies are sparkly, right? Yeah.
True.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Go. They should have a metallic red that's like a ruby red, a metallic ruby red, right? And it gives you really weird looking feet instead of like that's see instead of a special thing with galoshes, you'll have like metallic ruby weapon red, and then you'll get that color, but then it'll
this
also
is your revenge for my pun earlier, isn't it?
I don't want anyone to have the ability to have those feet in 14. I just don't want to.
No.
Just bad things are going to happen because
you can't dictate what feet people want. You don't pay their sub.
I mean, that's true. I do not. I definitely won't if you're going to use that emote.
I will definitely not pay your sub.
See, that's so we have the Ruby weapon bust, right? So next FanFest, right? I'll get in line for the Q&A. Be like, so can we get like Ruby weapon feet craftables from the? I just want those big platform like.
We're going to be banned. We're going
horseshoe
to be banned
looking
from all future interviews.
Yep. Not we, just him. That'll have to come from a different email.
There you go. It won't be as bad as the brothel question though, so at least I won't get blacklisted.
Yeah, at least
there we go.
that one,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that question. All right.
Well,
With
we had
that.
We had a lot more feelings on dyes than I thought we would ever have, but I'm
yes.
pleasantly surprised.
Not surprised. We always find one thing to just go off the rails with. Let's talk about dyes for 20 minutes.
Yeah, why not?
Anything else that we want to throw in here about Diadem, Ishgard Restoration?
More fun than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel that way about a lot of the stuff they've added. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
I'm not. Go ahead.
The longevity.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Sorry, there's too many people. Go ahead. I will.
Everybody has to say.
I just wanted to know. Do you think that it would have increased the score that we gave it? By how much do you think?
Yeah, I do actually.
If it was in the patch before.
My other would have been.
Yeah.
Although
we had a crafting gathering, so I think a lot of ours were 3 out of 4. So I think
but
it would.
Dyes could have been in other, and that would have been.
Yeah, I feel like this would have affected it just because I think it rounds out what we got in like a really robust way. I mean, this is content design, the way you put it is so perfect. Like, it feels more fun than it ever should be. Because when you think about it, I mean, sure, you go into Diadem and you're just like, I run around, I click on a thing, I run around some more, and I click on a thing, I run around some more, and I click on a thing. But it's nice because it's so different than a lot of the other stuff that we do in game. And like, it changes the pace of what you're doing and what you can do when you just log in. And that, I think, is a huge success, and it's fun and it's great. It's getting people into it like myself who have never done it before. It makes that leveling experience so much more streamlined. It's great. You can do it with friends and just kick back without people being stressed or like, I mean, it's been great. And then the rewards and the new stuff they've added with like expert and, you know, with those special nodes and all of those things, I think also gives some nice, content currently for high level crafters and gatherers, and also gives us a nice direction moving forward for stuff to keep sort of expanding that. So yeah, I think it would have upped the score for me.
Well, it's like when the patch hit, you know, I said if you told me I'd spend most of my patch day doing ocean fishing, I would have said you were out of your mind.
You're crazy.
But it's interesting. I mean, you have that idea of longevity. Ocean fishing, I think, out of all of this is going to suffer the most because of the rewards tied to that. Right, if once people, I haven't touched ocean fishing since I got my mount. Like, yes, there's still that like get a 16,000 score achievement, but I'm like, that's never happening. I'm okay. I got my shark mount, I got my baby shark minion, I'm good. I don't need to touch this content ever again, right? Next expansion to 80 to 90 maybe, right? And that's maybe where we'll see a resurgence in some of the stuff like Diadem if they continue to use it and update it for the next expansion. Or even if they don't, if it's still open, people would go in here, get scripts, level up, next cap, right? So
I'm considering leveling in alts, at least gathering, possibly crafting, and I've never considered that before because it is work.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something we had with Shadowbringers. It's even before we had this content with Shadowbringers, right, with Crystarium deliveries and stuff like that, it's been so much easier to level that stuff up this time around. And you know, we have usually the last Leg of Beastmen stuff that we'll get for an expansion. That's the crafting or gathering stuff, but we have it with the second one. So there's definitely a lot more of a focus on that stuff than battle stuff, which is it's different. It's not bad. Like, you know, some of this, it's fun. Like, it's surprising how we're enjoying it, right? But yeah, the longevity, I mean, that's always the question. Like, fingers crossed that like we don't have to get like another Diadem revision at this point, right? But
yeah, I like how they're kind of tricking us into exploring parts of the game that some people have never looked at before because they were like, boring. They're like, no, it's actually pretty good. Like, check this out. Come here, click on a thing for 5 minutes and then go blow something up. That's fun too.
I mean, you know, and that kind of thing, right? Like, we know that Yoshi doesn't have a problem with subbing the month for a patch and then leaving, right? But doing this kind of stuff, I think, definitely, you know, not for everybody, but the people that might try it, maybe they'll stay sub for an extra month or something. For those people that are subbing, you know, one patch or 1 month at a time or whatever, this, you know, might keep them logging in more. So
yeah.
Is that a beaver behind your head?
Yeah.
I just noticed it just now. I'm like, what?
That was a really weird red. Is that a beaver behind you?
Yeah, no. To clarify for the audio version of this, it would be a beaver
the plush
plushie.
Beaver. Yeah. They just came out a couple weeks ago.
From the game, relevant
from
to
the game.
Podcast.
Yes.
Oh my God, Fusion! Is that a live beaver in your room? No, it's a plush.
Quarantine day 7.
Quarantine day 7.
The beavers are here.
I felt a need to build something, so I grabbed a beaver and some twigs. I'm gonna make a real
and hunting.
Gonna make a real life dam.
We've discovered that Corona is also affecting the local beaver populations. All citizens are now required to shelter
together
to help save the species.
For just 5 sticks a day, you too can adopt a beaver.
How long has that been there? Like, how many shows have I missed?
At least one.
All right. I don't feel too bad.
I definitely had it last week.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
probably had it the week before. Yeah.
So I wasn't here that week.
I had it
from PAX, right?
No. So it was actually part of the order I had from the Square Shop. So a lot of stuff came from them. So I got like the shirt, right? The primal shirt, right? That just came out. The 11 Meat Myth Kebab shirt, the beaver, some of the new job pins. The acrylics are what I got from PAX, the Alpha No and Alice acrylics, because those were sold out online. And then as soon as I got the package that day, they went back up on the store. So, because of course they did. So if you need them, I don't know if they're still there, but yeah, go get them. They're actually really cool. The acrylics are really neat. Well, remember a couple of the acrylics are in sets. The Alpha No and Alice, and then the Thancred.
Yeah, but when they first came out, they were all discounted.
Were they? I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people that would have bought it anyway. So if it's something related to the game and I want it, unless
I know that about you.
if it's over a couple $100, I will consider it a little bit more. But,
yeah.
Like I don't have the harsh font necklace. I don't have the meteor ring.
Yeah.
But I have all the statues. They're right behind me. You can't see them because of the glare, but they're there. Anyway.
Yes.
That's going to do it for us for this week. If you want, you can email us, aetheryteradio@gamerscape.com. Tweet at us at aetheryteradio and Gamerscape. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, Gamerscape, discord.gg/Gamerscape. We have an Aetheryte Radio channel if you want to come and talk to us about the show. That's going to do it for us this week. Be safe, wash your hands, and we will see you back here next week.
Stay home. Listen to a podcast.
Play Final Fantasy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.